to Book 2. Welcome to Jackie's Lyric Corner. I am Jackie, and it is evening now. I had earlier this afternoon, late morning actually, probably is more accurate. I had filmed my wrap up for December 2024, the last month of the year. And we have 2 more days of this year, and then it will be January 1st. And luckily, I don't go back to work until the 2nd, thankfully. But anyway, I decided to film a video because I did decide to go to Gibbons Bookshop. I wasn't sure if it would be open on the 31st or the 1st of January because it's New Year's. But I did look it up, and it's actually that the hours. Well, actually, it is open. It is going to be open because the festivities really don't start until the evening anyway, and it closes at 4. So it works, it works out. And then New Year's Day it's just New Year's Day. There's not any activity. People are just chilling and hanging out. But I did end up going today. I got 3 books, and one of them is actually a hardback book. So it was a little bit more than what I usually get. It was a couple dollars more than my usual $12. But that's because, like I said, I got a hardback book. So, in this hardback book is kind of a more recent release. I think it did come out in 2024. And actually I was inspired to buy it because because Shelley Swearian talked about it on her channel, I think it was one of the books that she read and she enjoyed. And also Greg from Supposedly Fun mentioned it. I don't know if when he talked about it, if he had just mentioned it and was gonna read it, or he had read it at that point, but I do remember him mentioning it. So first I will show you that book last. But the first 2 I got are the Folger editions of 2 Shakespeare plays. I was almost tempted to get Othello too, but I'm trying to acquire these editions and in this size. I do have a mass market of Much Ado About Nothing in Folger's edition, but I kind of want this. I want this size. I like reading this size better. So I don't know if I'll keep that and just eventually get that. See if I can get this size, or if I can get the Barnes and Noble the Barnes and Noble edition, because there is a particular Barnes and Noble edition as well that they sell. Although my mom just reminded me of how that store is still not 100% doing well. A lot of stores have closed. And they don't get as much business as they used to. I know that the one year my Lola closed, but I do think with that one, it was across the street from Books A Million, which was in the mall. Although that is not as active as it used to be either. But I'm still kind of surprised because I think Barnes & Noble, personally for me, I like Barnes & Noble a little bit more than Books A Million. I mean, I love my Books A Million. I appreciate it's there. I like talking to the women that work there, and, they recognize me every time I come. But I do kind of like the atmosphere of Barnes & Noble. And also, it is nice when I kind of like the bigger store. But now she's got me worried that one's not going to be there anymore. I mean, at least there is a Book A Million within driving distance. So at least there still is one. And even if that one goes, even if something never happened to that one, I do have Gibbons right down, within walking distance, which is where I got these books. So we have this one, first is one of Shakespeare's romantic comedies, A Midsummer Night's Dream. And if you don't know what this is about by chance, this is basically there's technically 2 plots. But the main plot is these 4 young lovers are all in the garden. When they have been hanging out in the garden all day, and then when they all fall asleep, they get hit by fairy dust. But the fairy dust, the fairy Puck sprinkles on them, is a love at first sight kind of dust. And so they end up seeing the wrong person, and it ends up being misunderstanding and a bunch of mix-up, and which is typical of Shakespeare's rom-coms, but I think a lot of rom-coms are basically inspired by Shakespeare's rom-coms. And I don't think I've ever watched I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of that movie adaptation, but I don't think I've ever watched it all the way through. And I think I've seen a stage show of it. I wanna, I think, maybe not. So that's A Midsummer Night's Dream. I always have trouble saying that title. A Midsummer Night's Dream. And then the other one is not everybody else, but most Shakespeare readers. Of course, I'm a fan of Hamlet. This was one of the works we read in that British literature class, or we actually didn't really get to it, or we did, but it was towards the last week of the semester, and we didn't really get to talk about it as a class. And that's actually why I was kind of held a grudge against Canterbury Tales, because we spent so much time at Canterbury Tales reading all the stories that I was kind of bitter that we didn't really get to Hamlet, and that I kind of had to read it on my own. I was looking forward to a discussion. We did watch a movie adaptation. I think it was the Kenneth Branagh adaptation, because he was Hamlet. And of course, the whole time during the movie, I could hear people talking in the back. This group of my peers talking. Like, I just kind of gave them the death glare. But then I wasn't very aggressive with it, because I don't want to deal with them making fun of me or mocking me, because I would hear them snickering, and I would get all paranoid and think they were, be like, oh, look at that stupid, girl trying to give us angry eyes or something. And so, yeah, I was kind of annoyed, though, that they kept snickering and talking the whole time. I was trying to, and even though it wasn't like super loud, because they couldn't have gotten away with being too loud, but it was still, I could still hear it, and I was like, please respect the material. So in this tragedy, our main character Hamlet, his father has just died, and his uncle has married his mother. Well, he has an encounter with the spirit of his father's ghost, and I think it's kind of debatable if he's really seeing the ghost of his father, or if he's actually just going crazy. And he is told by his father's ghost that his uncle killed him, and that he's trying to take his father's place and and so it's a bit of a drama, and Hamlet's trying to, get his uncle to confess. So this was actually, and I had seen this one there before Christmas, but because it was on my Amazon wishlist, I was like, let me just wait and see if I get it for Christmas, and unfortunately, which I didn't, so I saw, and it was still there, and I grabbed it, along with this one, because I really like these editions. And like I said, I want to get Much Ado About Nothing, which is my copy of Much Ado About Nothing is a mass market. So either I will get I would either like to try to get this version of it, or maybe get like I said, if I get a chance to go to Barnes & Noble again, I would love to get the Barnes & Noble edition, which they have their own special edition of the Shakespeare plays, and they're actually really cheap. Let me see. Is there a price? Yeah, these are also very cheap too. But I guess because they're classics and they're like old literature, so the last one is the book that Shelley Swearingen was talking about, and that I think Greg from Supposedly Fun also talked about. Again, I don't know if he read it, or if he was just talking about wanting to read it, or like thinking about it. But that is The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. And this is a bit of a family drama. So, according to the description in the front flap, you have this family. The the husband slash father, Dickie, he has a car salesman business that falls apart and starts to go under. The son, the 12-year-old son is on the verge of running away. Their straight A teenage daughter is getting used drinking, and the mom is pawning off her jewelry because a what do they call them? Because a cattle farmer, Big Mike, I'm guessing is trying to. Well, all it says is Imelda is selling off her jewelry on eBay and half-heartedly dodging the attention of fast-talking cattle farmer Big Mike. Okay, so those might be two separate things then. She's pawning off the jewelry on eBay, but also maybe this cattle farmer is trying to flirt with her. Or it could be connected. He might be trying to, steal from them. I don't know. But I will find out, because I'm intrigued. Because as I've said before, I want to read more family drama stories. So those are the 3 books I got. The Bee Sting, Hamlet, and A Midsummer Night's Dream. And that's the only way I can say that title is if I say it slow. Because then when I try to say it too fast, I forget. I end up saying nights. I end up saying Midsummers instead of A Midsummer Night's Dream. And the S is on the word night and not midsummer. Okay, so, anyways, if you guys like this video and want to, and it would really help my channel if you subscribe and give it a thumbs up, and I hope you are enjoying your reading, and had a good Christmas, and I hope you're going to have a good New Year's. All right, bye!